Hey, what's up guys, how are you doing? My name is Khaled, and if you're new to Cinema 4D and you wanna learn it, then make sure to watch my previous videos on my comprehensive introduction to Cinema 4D. I'm uploading daily videos, so it should be a lot of fun. You may want to subscribe and turn on notifications for you'll be notified whenever I upload a video. Anyway, in today's video we're going to see how you can position, scale and rotate your 3D object or 3D model in Cinema 4D. And we're also going to talk about the things that you should consider before making an object editable. With that said, let's go ahead and create a 3D cube and add a little bit of fillet to it. Let's set the fillet radius to around 5 centimeters. And once you click on your object, you're going to see that you instantly have control over the number of the segments and you have control over the size. Just make it editable and everything will go away. This is the only thing that you should consider before making your object editable. Like, you cannot change the number of the segments. So let's tell our viewport that we want to see them. So change the display to ground shading lines and change the number of the segments to, let's say, 4 by 4 by 4, and it should be okay for a cube, I think. And now you're gonna see that you have control over 3 sizes. Like, you just need to remember that this is the green one is the Y axis, and the red one is the X axis, and the blue one is the Z axis. So whenever you go to size X, you're gonna see that this one is going to scale along the X axis, meaning that it's gonna make it wider, and this one is gonna give it a little bit of height. This one's gonna give it a little bit of depth. I mean, not a little bit, but it depends on how much you want to give it, or may give it less depth or more depth. Okay, and now let's make our object editable and see what we can do. Just before we make it editable, let's just try to scale it, to position it, and you're gonna see that yeah, it's doing the same. So the x-axis is gonna move our object left and right, yes, and the y-axis is gonna move our object up and down, and the z-axis is gonna move our object back and forth. Okay, and you're gonna see just rotate, just using these 3 controls or the numbers on your keyboard. So I just have video, if you want to Cinema 4D, I have video for that, so make sure you watch my previous videos. Okay, let's see what we can do. Like, we have this blue arrow, and once you have hover over it, it's gonna highlight the green the up and down axis and the left and right axis, meaning that it's going to give you control over both of them at the same time. So it's moving it both up and down, left and right at the same time. And this green one is gonna move it like left and right and back and forth at the same time. You can see this. And the red one's gonna move it up and down and back and forth. And this is very handy for, like, you don't need to move it like this and then this and then this. So it's like you can move it like this, and it's much easier that way. Okay, and now let's try to resize our object. So we have control over these 3 points, which are alternative for these 3 controls. Okay, and once you try to resize your object, like, go to the scale and then scale it or along the x-axis, you're gonna see like it's not scaling properly. You're not scaling it from the y-axis or x-axis, and this is because our object is not editable yet. So when you try to scale it using the scale tool, it will always do a uniform scale. And now, what is a uniform scale? A uniform scale means that your object is gonna scale over all the axes at the same time. So it's gonna always scale like this. Just make it editable and you're gonna see the difference. Okay, and just for position, once your object is editable, it's not gonna do anything different. Yes, and the positioning, like we said. And then for the rotation, you just need to note that the rotation is not the same. So we have rotation, this rotation is called H, and let's see what it can do. And this is for the green axis, H, and for the red axis it's gonna be P, yep, P, and for the B axis it's gonna be like this. It's going to rotate like this. And if you wanna rotate it or like a little bit of random or take control over multiple rotations, you can just click inside of the 3D sphere and try to rotate it, and you're gonna see that it's rotating according to the position of your mouse. Okay, so this is a little bit of, this can come handy when creating some random rotations, or yeah, random rotations. Okay, that's all. Just kidding. Anyway, and I think that this was it for today's video, and I just want to notify that after you make your object editable, you're gonna have access to both point selection, add selection, in addition to polygon selection, which you cannot have in your object when it's not editable. So this is one of the reasons why you should make your object editable in Cinema 4D. So we're going to talk about the point selection and add selection and polygon selection in the next video, so make sure to stay tuned and subscribe for new videos. Okay, see you later.